going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of the Forgotten Race Review. Today, at the request of Happy Humper, we're cracking open Bestiary 5. We're going to talk about the Deep One Hybrid. If you guys are liking what you're seeing, remember, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hey, if there's any races you want to hear us talk about, throw them down in the comments. We'll put them on the request line. Remember, patrons get to cut that line and go first. Today, we've got a brand new patron. Today, this episode of the Forgotten Race Review was brought to you in part by Mr. Daniel Hobbs. Thanks so much, my friend. Check your Patreon inbox for that Discord notification. Now, let's get spooky. So, the Deep Ones are creatures in the Cthulhu mythos. They first appeared in The Shadow over Innsmouth in 1931, but they'd been hinted at before in the earlier short story Dagon. The Deep Ones are a race of intelligent, ocean-dwelling creatures, more or less human-shaped, but with a fishy, froggy appearance. They regularly mate with humans along the coast, and that creates societies of hybrids. And those hybrids are super spooky looking. Real quick, anybody out there remember an original Xbox game, Call of Cthulhu, Darkest Corners of the Earth? Yeah, we're going way back for this one. Those big ol' hulking dudes walking around, just, ain't nothing here for you to look at, stranger. Yeah, Deep One hybrids. No, man, I really need to get my hands on an original Xbox and play that. I live in a city now. I could probably go to like a GameStop or something, pick that game up. Yep, sounds like a weekend. In Pathfinder, it's basically entirely 100% the same idea. We've got a wide-ranging, vast expanse of Elder Mythos content in this game. It's one of the reasons I love this game so much. And hey, 2 days from now, we're doing some homebrew for Cthulhu in Wednesday afternoon worship. Super stoked. But essentially, cut these dudes out of the mythos, slap them on Galarion, and you've got them. The Deep One hybrids of Pathfinder, again, are the spawn of humans and Deep Ones. When a human and a Deep One love each other very much, you make one of these ugly dudes. They're the most comfortable with others of their kind, and they typically cluster in small insular settlements where they can assume positions of authority. They keep any humans within the town subservient and cowed, making sure that other residents know better than to act against local laws, which probably usually involves sacrificing you to great old ones, but who am I to judge? Now, there's actually something in the special abilities of the Deep One hybrid that harkens to the half-orc, so it's the half-orc we're going to use today. A Deep One hybrid comes of age at 14 years old. Males stand anywhere from 5 foot to almost 7 feet tall at 6'10", weighing anywhere from 164 to 318 pounds. Females coming in 4'7" to 6'5" at 124 to 278. Now, these guys normally have a maximum age and things like that, but we're not going to talk about that right now because it would spoil the racial traits. A Deep One hybrid receives a +2 to its constitution and wisdom, but a -2 to its dexterity. That's super relevant out there. I see it a whole lot on forums and things that people complain about there being not enough races in the game with a neg to their dexterity racially. Boom, there you go, there is one. These guys are humanoids with the human and Deep One subtype, and they're medium creatures with a base speed of 20 feet and a swim speed of 30 feet. And of course, the swim speed means they get a +8 racial bonus on all swim checks. They've got low light vision and a +1 to their natural armor bonus. And they have a bunch of really fun, really crazy abilities, some of which defy the ability to grant an RP value because some of them are just so situational. First off, a Deep One hybrid can hold its breath 10 times, longer than a human can, and it gets a +2 on initiative checks and reflex saves while swimming, so it doesn't buff its AC, but it's basically just getting rid of that dex neg, just be underwater. Also, normally, you hold your breath for a number of rounds equal to double your con score, so 20 cons holding for 40 rounds. This dude's holding for a little longer. Yeah, that's a thing. On the other side of that, every 24 hours a Deep One hybrid spends in an area more than 10 miles from the sea. It must succeed at a DC 20 will save, or take a point of wisdom drain. Gets rough. Pad your wisdom, kids. Play a cleric, kids. Play Skull and Shackles. To be honest with you, you never have to worry about it then, kids. The final ability, the final change, if you will, says that a Deep One hybrid ages at the same rate as a half-orc. A mere 1d12 months after a Deep One hybrid reaches venerable age, that's 60, it dies a painful, agonizing death only to have its body transform into that of a mature Deep One. The transformation functions as per the Reincarnate spell, with the newly formed Deep One getting a +6 to its strength, another -2 to its dex, oh no, and a +6 to its con. Yeah, so all you gotta do is survive to 60 and change, and you become the strongest, buffest dude in the party that's super powerful. And it doesn't stop there. The Reincarnate spell, though it doesn't necessarily give you like the languages and things that whatever you're reincarnated as might have spoke, it gives you all the special abilities. So although it's not necessarily immediately apparent in the Deep One hybrid racial stat block, let's talk about the what ifs, shall we? Let's talk about what happens if you well and truly die of old age and come back as a Deep One. In addition to all those super big buffs, your +1 to natural armor becomes a +3, and you gain dark vision out to 60 feet. Your type changes to a monstrous humanoid with the aquatic and Deep One subtype, though we're still medium, and you resist 5 points of cold damage. Your speed remains 20 feet, but your swim speed goes up to 40, and you get a +4 racial bonus on stealth checks while underwater. Lasting for 10 times as long as a human underwater was super sweet, but now we're amphibious. As a Deep One, we breathe water just as easily as we breathe air. Of course, we can just look at those hands and see we're gonna get a claw attack. Specifically, we've got 2 of them that deal a d4 of damage. And we get brand new special abilities. The first one we see is Deep Dweller. The Deep Ones are immune to damage from water pressure. Their bodies are capable of instantly adjusting to different water depths or even the surface with ease. Also, a Deep One gains a bonus skill rank per hit die that must be placed in Knowledge Religion, and it's a class skill for all the Deep Ones. So there you go, fill in that knowledge niche in the party as you're a creepy fish frog monster thing. Oh, by the way, now that you've died that horrible, painful death of old age, now you're immortal. A Deep One does not age. Barring death from violence, disease, or misadventure, a Deep One can live forever. They're immune to effects that cause magical aging, and they can activate spell trigger items like staves and wands as if they were spellcasters of the appropriate class. But wait, there's more. Just in case standing about 7 feet tall and weighing 300 pounds wasn't enough for you, if you live long enough, and by long enough I mean eons and eons, you could become an Elder Deep One, ascending to the status of near godhood in Deep One society, towering over your kin and ruling the sunken cities. This change puts you a little closer to a CR 14 creature. Your size increases to gargantuan, which, if I'm doing my math right here, should give us a +6 again onto our strength score, a -6 on our dex to a minimum of 1 if you dumped it, and a -4 on attack rolls and AC due to the fact that, you know, we're enormous now. That natural armor bonus that we had that was pretty good at +3, yeah, no, now +18. We gain DR10 over magic and piercing. We're immune to cold and disease. We resist 10 points of acid and electricity, and our SR looks to be, based on the Deep One Elder in the Bestiary, 10 plus hit dice. Yeah, now we have spell resistance too. Super good. Oh, by the way, we regenerate 10 unless they hit us with fire. Let's stay fighting in the water, shall we? Seems good. Our speed at long last moves from 20 to 30. Our swim speed moves to 60. Our claws do 2d6 points of damage, and we gain a bite attack that deals 2d8 points of damage. We take up 20 foot of space, that's 4x4 on the board, and 20 feet is in fact our reach. We are constantly affected by a cloak of chaos, as well as freedom of movement, so swim speed irrelevant. At will, we can cast Dream or Hold Monster, mean. 3 times a day, Black Tentacles demand Insanity and Nightmare. Once a day, Dominate Monster or Symbol of Insanity, and once a week, Binding. we retain the Deep Dweller trait that says we're immune to damage from water pressure, and we get some new ones as well. The first one we see is Devastating Strike. An Elder Deep One ignores the first 10 points of hardness when it damages an object with its claws. A creature struck with a critical hit from an Elder Deep One's claws must succeed at a DC 10 plus half your hit dice plus strength, or 30 if you're looking just straight at the bestiary, fort save, or be stunned for a round. Ugh. Oh, also, by the way, you're deific now. An Elder Deep One can grant divine spells to its worshippers. Granting these spells doesn't require any specific action on the Elder Deep One's behalf, and you grant access to the domains of chaos, evil, madness, and water. As your own particular Deep One, your symbol varies and is up to you, but your favorite weapon is the claw. Of course, you're still immortal. Of course, you still know how staves and wands and stuff work, and any mind-affecting effect that fails to affect an Elder Deep One, that being you, is reflected back on the source, affecting the original caster as if by spell turning, treating the Elder Deep One as the controller and source of the spell. Mind-affecting spells? Yeah, no, you're the one who's gonna get messed up. Super good. And lastly, instead of Frightful Presence, no, we have a Staggering Presence. Works basically the same, so this triggers on an attack or spell cast, something like that. Except that the creature that fails its save is also staggered as long as it remains in the area of effect, and for an additional d6 rounds after leaving the area. Of course, it's still a mind-affecting fear effect, but yeah, if your game's got eons, or your GM really wants to hype that Elder Mythos stuff, this could be where your game ends up. Super good. And really, if I were to play a Deep One hybrid, I'm gonna try to start at Venerable. Hopefully, maybe my GM doesn't notice it and I'll whoopsie it at him. No, I'm not going to condone that. Don't whoopsie at your GMs, kids. It's mean, it's rude, session zeros. But that's the idea. Start at Venerable, roll that D12. In a high-powered game, emerge as something like a Deep One. Really, in a Gestalt setting, if a player doesn't want to play a Gestalt character, a Deep One itself is a pretty good template to tack onto a thing. A +6 to your con is a +3, usually, to the modifier. Seems good. And actually, you know, I was in a party with a Deep One for a while, a Deep One Skald who worshipped the Great Old Ones, and he didn't really fit in the party because, you know, chaotic evil worshipping the Great Old Ones. The roleplay was really good, but my Gestalt Druid Blood Rager just wasn't having it. They didn't stay for long, and it was unfortunate, but it's there. It's definitely a thing. We definitely had to go find the sea a lot. It was a pain, but it was there. If I were to GM for one of these things to avoid that pain, I would probably make the game either some kind of aquatic or like island hopping, that kind of thing, so that way you're always within that 10 miles of the sea. 10 miles is pretty far in a lot of settings. It might not seem like a lot to us with our cars and planes and things, but it's relatively reasonable that you could spend a campaign that far from the sea and never see a drop of water. Though really, I think you're missing out if you don't, like, go get a boat, kill people, sacrifice them to Cthulhu. But that's just me. What do you guys think of the Deep One hybrid? Have you played one? Have you GM'd for one? How do you feel about the Elder Mythos, you know, in our tabletop RPG settings? Let me know, again, all about it in the comments. We'll keep that conversation going. But for now, that's all we have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. The next episode of the Forgotten Race Review, where we're doing a little bit of homebrew, and we're going to brew up the Minotaur as a PC race, drops next Monday.